Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Glisten's Culinary Delights. We are going to have some fun this whole month. I've got something very special for you. Now, since June is the time of vacations and summer and fun, one of our favorite vacations to go is to Disneyland. And if you've never been to Disneyland, it is amazing. There's so much great things to do. It's so much fun. Happiest place on earth. And the food is to die for. So, the last few years, I've been looking for recipes to kind of make my own things for Disneyland. And I've tried a few, and they've been really good. I have a few books that I've used. So I have this, it's called the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. It's not official from Disney, but they have some really, really great recipes from all the Disney parks all around the world. Now, there's also this other magazine that I've used before, and it's just the Delish magazine, and it's the Disney version of Delish. And they also have some very good recipes, and this is some official recipes from Disneyland. Now, one thing that was really great that came out of COVID is Disneyland released lots of the recipes on their Disney blog, and they're the actual recipes that they use in the parks. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make one of my favorite dishes from the Blue Bayou at Disneyland. You can also get it at New Orleans Cafe, and it is the best and easiest sandwich you can ever make, and it's called the Monte Cristo. So stay tuned and let's get started. Alright, so today, like I said, we're making the Monte Cristo. And those of you that don't know what a Monte Cristo is, it's basically a battered, fried sandwich. And it is to die for. Now, the recipe that I'm going to use is from my Delish magazine, and this is like the actual recipe that they use at Disneyland. And what's good about these cookbooks is not only does it tell me the recipe, as you can see in here, it has the recipe, it has a brief explanation on where the recipe comes from, and just a little bit of things about the park as well. So, if you don't have time to go to Disneyland, or you're just it's too expensive, or for whatever reason you don't go to Disneyland this summer, then this is a great recipe for you guys to use. So we'll get started on our recipe. Okay, so here we have all our ingredients that we're going to need to use. Like I said, the sandwich is a battered sandwich, so we are going to make the batter first. So here I have some just all-purpose flour that I'm going to put in here, and I'll have the recipe down in the description so you know the exact amount of each item to put in. Okay, and then I have my baking powder and salt. Just going to stick that in there as well. And before I do any of my wet ingredients, I'm just going to whisk this. Just whisk it together to get all of the stuff incorporated. Alright, so next I just have some water. I'm going to put in, and 1 egg. Alright, so now I'm just going to whisk this, and we're going to whisk it for 3 to 4 minutes. We want it to just, all the flour to dissolve in here and make like a creamy batter. That's what our batter looks like. Nice and creamy. Now I'm just going to bring out our deli meats, and we will make our sandwich. Okay, so for our sandwich, it's really pretty easy. What is inside of it is we've got some ham and we've got some turkey. Any type of ham that you can find at the store. I just got this in my deli counter at Fry's grocery store or Kroger or wherever you go. And then I've got some Swiss cheese. And then as for the bread, I like to use a thicker bread, so I'm just using Texas toast. But you can use any type of bread that you like. Challah bread works really good with this, or the thin bread's good too. But this just works better. I feel like it stays better, easier. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put a couple slices of my ham, and then a couple slices of turkey. And then I'm going to do some Swiss cheese. And I'm actually going to do a piece of Swiss cheese on both underneath the deli meat and on top of the deli meat. So then you're just gonna top it with your bread. All right, so now we're gonna cut it into triangles. As you can see, I just cut it and like the bread fell off already. So what we're going to do to prevent that when we're frying it is I'm just gonna get a toothpick and I'm gonna stick the toothpick through the bread into the deli meat to the other side as far as you can get it. This will keep it from falling apart when you're frying it and you're dipping it in your batter. There we go. So now we have a nice slice of our sandwich. All right, so this is gonna go pretty quickly. So we've got our batter here, we've got our hot plate on, and we're warming up our oil. We want it to be very hot because you're gonna be frying this sandwich. And then I've got a plate with a paper towel laid out, so that way when we're done with frying our sandwich, we're just gonna use our tongs, put our sandwich pieces on this so it can soak up any excess oil. All right, so let's get that going. Now, a good way to test to see if your oil is ready is you could just drop a little drop of the batter into your oil, and if you see that it's already starting to fry, then that's good. That's what you want. So, our oil is ready. So I'm going to get my sandwich and I'm just going to cover it completely with our batter. You can use your tongs to make it easier. Your fingers are going to get a little slimy, but that's okay. Right, so then once you do that, you're just going to put it directly into your oil. I'm going to do that with all of our pieces. Okay, so now these are going to fry for about 4 minutes, and we're just going to want to churn them every so often so that they brown on each side. Alright, so our first piece is ready to take off. And I'm just going to set it on this paper towel. Alright, so we're just going to plate that up and we're going to give it a taste. So there you have it. We have our sandwiches. They look delicious. One of the things that you're supposed to have with Monte Cristos is some jam. And this is blackberry jam that I have here. And we have one last step before we can dig in. So one of the best parts about the Monte Cristo is the powdered sugar on top. So I just got a little bit of powdered sugar in here. I'm just going to sprinkle it on here and then we will eat up. Look at that. Perfect. All right, so let's try it. All right, so let's get to it. We're going to take a bite of this baby and see how it turned out. So how you eat one of these is you just get your Monte Cristo and then you dip it inside your jam and then you just take a bite. So good. The ham and the turkey inside is just so delicious. The Swiss is all melted. And then you dip it in this jam. Oh. Amazing. All right, everyone, thanks for watching Glistens Culinary Delights today. If you are getting nostalgic or you're just getting a hankering for Disneyland and you're at home, please try this recipe. It is so good and so easy to make. I will have the recipe down in the description. Also for the books I talked about at the very beginning, those will also be in my description if you are interested in purchasing them. There's lots of other recipes that I'm not going to be filming, so I suggest you go and get those books because they're so good. So thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.